Hi guys, and welcome to your after WrestleMania review. Just before we kick off the review part of the episode, I'm going to shall we say that I enjoyed um I enjoyed for the most part all Arsenal, it felt like a much needed reset button as some of the stuff at the WrestleMania needed a reset because in the build up it was almost still about Heyman, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk and the history, and uh, we all know about the history of that whole situation as well, and it just he did a bit of a refresh, and I'm happy that we got it. Um, at WrestleMania in the night on main event with obviously Heyman siding with Raw and um in the end of the triple threat. But the majority of the first night was a bit of hit and miss. Night two is better, or it was just to the main event was a bit sort of yell came whatever type of thing. But anyway, guys, so we kick off. So we kick off the start of the show. John Cena comes out. John Cena comes out obviously to address the crowd and to address his record breaking 17th title, and he holds the record out as a result of the win and against Cody Rhodes. It comes out in very much the same fashion and a well shot obviously his face off and it says last time is now that's all in black as well. Then you've got his and you've got his entrance, which is all kind of act out. There's no cut or in there's basic writing with his name on top of the title run basically. And it's a very sort of sort of contrast with usual sort of influential and enemy comes out and obviously um you have Martin Ash who's stepping in for Alicia Hale or who's the regular or Ron announcer. She's taking some time off, so Martin Ash from SmackDown ring announcer. So, so Ash actually introduces him as the new as the new WWE champion on Cena, but as soon as Cena gets into the ring, he hands a bit of paper to Martin Ash, and then Martin Ash reads it, and it basically he says, um, my apologies, let me do the announcement again. Um, for the S new Nina and 17-time world heavyweight champion, the greatest of all time, and the last real champion and WWE history, John Cena. So Cena get it's on the and he says, and there's like history, and he basically he said to the fans, you all cheer me now, but you were bullying me and harassing me for I Hey, you bet on Code Hero odds who you would in the main event, in the main event, or odds came up short, or um, Emerald Woods came up short. I demand that you all apologise to me for the day you abuse have suffered over the years. The crowd chant, "You're not sorry," over and over and again. And then she's, um, um, and Cena direct X our attention over to the video all of the arena, and it pops up the so the John Cena retirement rather so uh, and and it basically says there's only 27 days or so on the Tron. It basically runs the it basically runs down the dates of all the past to WrestleMania, the Raw and SmackDowns that were held in Europe. And he says once that number runs down to 0, I'm on and more, even with the same title that Bruno San Martino captured the Stone Cold on and the title. CM Punk beat me for my money in the bank 2011. And um, I must stand Oh, he said there's of course there'll be a Monday night or and obviously there'll be um and obviously there will be a tournament to decide to the next champion, but I'm the real champagne, and this is a belt that all the greats have held basically, and of course this is a secret the Raw after or WrestleMania. All you fans have gotten soft. You don't hijack it the way you used to. And any funny, she's off by I saying, um, I've got the most still for a cigarette, I'm the old, champagne, but I want to do something nice for all you out. Take out your cameras, and take out your cameras and take the last picture of the last real WWE champion, and the scene is asking, and he's glory, and so ups his old or rival Randy Orton, and he owes and he RKO's John Cena. Now see, now, see, to be honest, this sets up the backlash in the main event because obviously, backlash is in St. Louis, Missouri, and Randy Orton's the hometown boy, so to speak. So you have a heel on Cena versus a face Randy Orton, and it was always Randy Orton that was the heel. So we're going to get a sort of role reversal at last, and these two dominated pretty much pretty much the last 15 years of of TV. Um, so obviously this is the correct that I know Shaw I know I know Shaw on a probable I know Shaw no probable be like oh oh no here we go again but in the in the sense on if you do come across this sort of view, it kind of makes sense because it's a retirement tour, and even though Osina has openly acknowledged he's retiring, even though he's a heel, who's the guy that he's had the majority of matches with in his career, and who's went back and forth title reigns with? It's Randy Orton. So this makes sense, and like it's not it's not all about the match quality of seeing it's more about the story aspect of it and like the fun because obviously he's kind of slowed down because he's a lot older and a lot of the WrestleMania main event was at a slow pace obviously to comedy you know as he's getting older. So yeah, this is probably like sort of nostalgia-based match, and it's nice to have different dynamic to the match. Overall, I enjoyed John Cena's and enjoyed John Cena's promo here and Randy Orton at the end of the segment here I think this is a stroke of genius arc and it sets up your main event um, um, it sets up your main event for uh, a clash in St. Louis in just under 3 weeks. So everything on we get the women's tag um championship match. You get Taylor and either Valkyria defending against the of Organ and Raquel Rodriguez. Now is a pretty good match. You get a pretty hot start when if Morgan um hits a missile drop kick. Um hits a missile drop kick to either. At the start of the match, that looked pretty good. During the ad break, obviously UK fans see the of that happens during the break because we don't get ads. So it's just a case of so it's just a case of and or a Kelby basically he can charge the match. Obviously he can out Iron Beck. He and they take much of the charge during the ad break, and then um, and then and then Ira and Becky begin our comeback. Um, Ira eventually hits a powerbomb on Raquel Ridge. He gets it looks impressive considering the size difference between the two. You have you have obviously of Morgan Powerbomb Kayla Inch. After this, Becky gets it upper hand, hits him and handles of Morgan, but the kill breaks it up and the and either is on hits in but is unable to get a fall. The heels managed to get rid of but either's isolated and obviously of Morgan hits a vein and gets it and gets this count and obviously um yeah, our new tag champs of the four time tag champs so have another a kill so after on the match you get kill can pass off um you can pass off it wasn't his match. So at first she goes in to check on Ira and Valkyria's obviously disappointed he didn't first and you think but uh, he's gonna um gonna keep consoling put odd basically so what happens is Becky helps so Ira up only to give her was line and Hugh. Now, basically, what this does is obviously set it's up a match between Inch and Valkyria for the IC belt, which will help elevate that championship because so far it's uh, that elevation and establishment. Um, but but yeah, so yeah, so uh, he put attempts to leave the ring and then comes back and Axar again pretends that she's all even and hits the man and so ammo. Which is basically her version of the rock bottom and 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 yeah and off about the rock like is he starting to annoy me recently. But I'll save that for I'll save that for another I'll save that for another video. I know Sean will have I know Sean will have a few things to say about the rock, but we'll get to that in another video at some point. So obviously, I, I'm still obviously I'm still obviously in the next so obviously in the next segment we get so obviously in the next segment we get the new and now after um after new tag title reign the Raw World tag champs. Obviously this is a Alpha Marine and the dispatch the already us at WrestleMania and an average match, but the way he said about that the best or outcome Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Uh, obviously, when you say that they're the best tag to ever exist, no other, no other tag team that that are alive can compete with, um, and obviously, um, Xavier Woods says everybody get down on your knees and say thank God for the new. I don't know how he says that in that tone of voice. It's actually quite impressive. But I can't do that because of my accent, basically. But yeah, so outcome the outcome the Alpha Academy and Max in the pre he said um Academy saying nobody the Ed or I can beat you for the tag for the tag belts. Um I seem to remember a few weeks ago um as album and Otis actually with a feature and it eyes and Tozawa and Otis is ever shot. So basically what happens as Xavier would the finds the challenge and as soon as my accents as they get all hot and bothered and decide to take up the challenge now. Um, and obviously Kingston and Xavier. on a steady was for this as contest so you kinda knew that so you kinda knew that it wasn't gonna happen. But when they get the debut of Rusev now, Rusev returns back from his spell in AEW's Hero, and the guy looks like he's slimmed down a bit. He's more jacked as ever. So he still he comes down, and the new stage is basically high heel. So the Alpha Academy are if as bodies are served just to semi and essentially that's what it does. Because I tries a cross body, but he gets tossed about like a rag all and the size for it and shows quite ill in here because his album was basically the size of a cruiser. For those that don't know, so the and Otis gets in the so the and Otis tries to stand up for or his friend um um basically and um challenges Rusev, but Rusev then apes him out with a straight martial arts kick, and obviously he puts him in the accolade to him, which was formerly known as the Redeemer and AEW. Sorry, I was about to say Impact, but or it's not. I was saying WWE is in or it's long you can't so but then but and the segment obviously obviously is we get the appearance of racing all her and us inferior but we are on in the sojourn on the ad breaks of the show you kind of want a title match but the orator has said absolutely not even in or a rematch because you get an automatic rematch was, but anyway, now that that's out the way, you kind of get you kind of get another segment with if Chad able kill open about his kill open about Americanos and over if in X he said Americano prevailed over the Mysterio I couldn't out but El Grande persevered and obviously he entered that argument. So out comes EOS. A Jerry is hard are Mania and the triples are a night. Uh, now this match I thought was exceptional, and I think it was her best performance obviously since joining up to the main roster. What she said, um, she said, she said, that was the best moment of her career. Um, and um, and that oh, Europe, eh, and wouldn't be Bianca Bell here. Um, I actually he forgot about our injury. He there is an after for but she said as well elder she said as well elder fans never forgot or our Amiel Sky and all of whatever, and like she is actually one of the best or so as on the tour. And at the minute, speaking of actually, before she can even and outcomes Stephanie Vaquer obviously in the NXT Women's Champion. She he comes out to pay respects. She comes out to pay respects. Yosk, I and says and says you put and I get it performance of one of the best or so as in the world, and I just came out. I just came out to show the respect, but I also came out to challenge a match this evening. Obviously, obviously out comes or General Manager Adam. Yes, and he basically he asks he basically he asks the authority he gets crowd if they want at and obviously and obviously authority he gives a Bill IG's Adam Pearce said I want the matches it's on. So basically, you get a short match here, but it's actually very entertaining. You get back and forth moves, you get Ioska, I hitting, I mean, Yora, you get Steffi, and you get Stephanie Air hitting her head s- as a finish, and even my cook all said as well, thank God because he's not out here because you'll be having a heart attack because he enjoys that move. I found to the I kind of found to that funny. Obviously, Io Sky hits a boost on point for air, of, air goes for the S, the S, E, E, Anish, but obviously, Io Sky, Io Sky, um, of, um, obviously, the we end up going for the same cross body move in the centre in the other line that cancels that and that cancels each other out so they're on the canvas. So out comes our Oxan Perez out comes our Oxan Perez from NXT. Obviously, she causes a disqualification. You ends by disqualification because Perez is outside and her feelings of it, so she beats up Io then Joe. Yeah, comes in and eats up on Stephanie Air, who, if you don't know, that's Victor's in her rival at the minute. It is their Oxan's kinda in between or SmackDown and NXT. She's kind of in both the whole hosted different things and they need actually you pick a direction or um, or Oxan fast because that's getting a bit old. Mm. How outcomes are outcomes are Europe she ekes out or Oxan Perez with ease. I kind of think Oxan's a bit overrated. He, so to see, yeah, destroyed Oksana, I thought is absolutely glorious. I don't know what many people see in their Oxan, to be honest. But if you, I think they're biding time to finish off the feud with him. Bale, and to be honest, I think Bailey booked some time off um because the Ross can can be time off basically, and I think that's the reason why the creator of one's kinda a pivot. He didn't wrestle in, yeah, but I assume and she's back. Her and Perry so funny, off the fifth and on and off again feud. But basically, in the back before, in the back before there, before his first ICE actually get Dominic Mysterio Finn Balor and Finn Balor are continuing the or continuing the direction but if Morgan kind of if they uses the whole sort of situation by saying it will ease the IC belts back in the upper house. So again, that will lead to a match down the road. But in the back though, in the back though, ages the heels gets interviewed a, about his loss at WrestleMania, and he basically says I'll bounce back from the disappointing loss. And comes Karen Cross and Scarlett, and he said bounce back. He basically legitimized Logan Paul as some sort of threat. You're the best that we have, Adrian, but in the ropes, it's done damage to the business, and AJ's all like, I just want me to be that guy and go to the dark side. I went back to that last, went back to that last, went back to that last year, and I hated myself on it, so I don't use you, so I don't use the deal for Logan Paul and Karen Cross, and Karen Cross fan, she's by saying, but I saying maybe I'll, so basically what this is, WWE have finally listened to my concerns. I'm only mentioning they don't know who I am, but they finally addressed so they finally addressed to give Karen Cross something to do. You know them by the podcast and interview he gave on Sam Roberts' show or whoever the hell it was that was that is presenting the podcast. Obviously as well Scarlett had the stuff to say on the podcast, and if they allow him to transfer some of that energy and expression into his character, and I think he can go pretty R&B like an icy belt guy to start off with. I mean, obviously, still equal is spoke about them. Actually had to with AJ and all. I still so if you check that out, I go into for other description of that match and about how good Karen Cross was in the match. This is a talented guy that actually knows about Karen development and knows about and knows about the world building etc. And he really cares about his craft and obviously Um, I know, obviously, I hope it turns out to be something for him. I know the late Evan Castle was a massive carrying cross, and as so, yeah, I hope it actually works out for carrying Ross. I hope it, I hope this actually I hope this actually leads to something substantial. I don't know about him beating Logan Paul because Triple H seems to have high stock in that piece of shit. I don't know why, but he seems to enjoy Logan Paul. I just can't stand but as long as they were carrying Cross to develop up a character because he's getting Mania actions, and I know it's his hometown crowd in Las Vegas is before people come at me. But like as I've said before, we're carrying Cross has got all the attributes. He's a good promo guy. He's good in the ring, and he cares about character development, and he's often so um he's often social media and needs to be um needs to be developed and he's on screen in persona and presence. Right, so now that's over and done. If we go to jail, so and the celebration, it talks about the trials and tribulations to get to the point of walking out of WrestleMania as champion. It as his whole year answering it on before he gives his promo mentions the fact about the bill. I, I know that's off him mentions the fact that for beating him 3 times in the build up to the obviously he mentions the attack on Jamie is to and but rather than going for and the and for was on Jimmy and he said they got revenge for or I'll get and for put me for and I made them happy. He's a kill. He so outcomes still out comes Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn said I came out congratulate you on your win and against and probably both eating them for belts at WrestleMania in yeah and um and obviously missing out on as obviously missing out on last weekend hurt me, but I'm proud of you, Uso, my dog. Oh, of you, you're my brother. And so the two of them and Bray celebrating through the year. Once again, and outcomes, outcomes, Jamaica, so, and the, and them all celebrate. Eventually, I think this will, um, eventually, I think this will lead to obviously Sami Zayn maybe getting a match with J.A. on the or something like that. Obviously, AJ, some then you could maybe answer Sami in heel and obviously expand on the regular between the two. I think the two, I think that's where the uh, will be headed because Triple H isn't that big on the Rima matches as you'll see um obviously that's it funny is to but as well um but as well in on the party on the US um 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 on the US contingent or if he get on amount and basically is not happy at the fact Michael oh and Pat Mac if he joined in joined in if the he out chance so was over to the corner and then was able you know also you know all sets and basically what happens is in Ox ahead unser often oxygen she's often yeah handsome yeah handsome from the desk and he puts my ankle coal and and so he pulled I if he I if he say if my ankle coal by on a hell and for the eggs and he puts my if he in so he put grape finds the eggs so that my if he is trapped and he chokes him out and the rest of the but or the eight seem actively in the score or teed him to the back and he can hardly make it up the ramp. Um, the, the, they obviously um they obviously had the hell of a good job here with the cell and all that, and think of it, and you'll see Pat McAfee and Pat McAfee versus and or at some point, and Pat McAfee can actually so we've seen it a couple at times on pay-per-views as a special attraction. And yeah, I think that's where Guns or his head he'd at least until SummerSlam here it's reported he'll take on Goldberg actual um actual absolutely um actual absolutely like on jump or jump why because he's a massive Bill Gold fan. He's going to kill me for that. Um, so 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 yeah, so when we get to the I match between in and Dominic Mysterio, obviously Michael was a little bit shaken up about his attack on his and on his announcer called Nick McAfee and Ed for the remainder of the show is joined by SmackDown's Joe Tessa or now Joe Tessa or I think as an exception as an exceptional announcer in his own or right. So he as a good to job obviously they make a reference to the attack several times um several times throughout the can um um throughout the combatants introductions obviously obviously during the break Dominic Mysterio has more of the offense but as he come back but as we come back from the break pen starts to get things going you've got Bow Aaron Cowie on the outside trying to make sure Dominic Ian's pen gets rid of the two officers um and JT McDonough was up on the Judgment Day and he knocks pen off the top he knocks pen off the top barrel and obviously that gives me a serial advantage and Dominic Mysterio was up top um was up top for um was up top for the if goes up top for the if Rogues Ash and he gets the victory because of J. E. on his interference now. I don't think this Hawks pen all that much. I think eventually he'll bounce back and he'll take the belt for he'll take the belt from his aerial what this does is that it shows them his aerial is a sort of Amy sort of heel that will do anything to protect his championship. So there was a bit of a setup here and it doesn't hurt on Damage Pen in any shape or form. So in your well, one year in event you get um s- one year in event you get um s- s- one year in event you get for all and coming out of Heyman and for all and the basic he says he's got raised about being a revolutionary and a visionary and I'm the man that's all Roman into some Heisman and the best and I see him on and eventually you get uh, um s- um um and eventually you get uh, CM Punk out in the arena and CM Punk asks himself for Orwell and his and he sets his sights and oh Heyman but is on his if acts himself a top he rakes the eyes and then goes for the he eats out and then and you hear the theme song of Roman or the ends another Roman ends comes out and he hears the F or all and he gives all him in the superman and punch but if or it can finish off him out um out comes on but he out comes but on but he or and he just rise on the reins or ends falls the outside and the ang but he capture eyes funny shot for ends or ends hits him of an open palm straight to in the every of all so the and the Roman in Christ pro opens elf up in the bar it but and but on but he costs so hides in and goes for this year and spears the shit out of arrow Roman and through the barrack and are all in his right to run, but he are all in his right to run, but he cuts Ishamo off um, but Engelman and Ryan Witness um 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 so so yeah some happens and humans as the was out WrestleMania week and let me announce that for all ends up in the new industry hops are heading into Mania for the uh, and um and humans and humans uh, eyes are in are and celebrating and the show fades out. But here's the thing, guys. I felt that this episode, I felt that this episode, I felt that this episode was a lot more exciting and WrestleMania. Yeah, I think that the reset button was pushed, and I enjoyed it. To be honest, I'm interested to see. I'm interested is to, it- to see how um how this new Heyman action develops. I think maybe if you add Becky Lynch in to the mix as well, I think that'll help the dynamic. Um, obviously she's married to Usa, um, Usa for all things, and I think, and I think that'll bring a good bit of realism here. Also as well, you've got the real life dynamic behind the scenes. Oh, Heyman's been a real advocate to uh, Baron Break on the but he fully had an alliance on an episode of NXT. So yeah, again, and that's on um based angles, and I'm interested is it to see I'm interested to see how that ends up, and I'll give this episode an 9.5 out of 10 basically. It's been the best it's been the best or on you, and it has been in a bit of a panic. Ends up a very hit and miss wrestle in here, and as well, and as well now you've got the context as to I but but it on Gerard and I see Bell in the face of one obviously obviously the companies has a chance elevating that bit higher because it's he has outgrown the IC and he's popular and he's over, and I'm interested to see what the 2025 version of Paul Heyman's injured alliance is going to bring, because obviously the whole about so ein arc control its was, and it provides Roman with a new objective and direction, because him and Heyman have been joined at the hit for a very long time. So it's interesting to actually see the reset button. Also as well, it's interesting to see Becky Lynch heel again. She needed a reset as well. So hopefully they can her into this whole 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 faction. But as well, you have or Jerry Garrison of Morgan offending the tag outs against Patso Patso and GGO in on NXT. So as well, you have getting that side test and you've also got um you've also got Stephanie yeah, and Jill, yeah, joining off of this episode, and that is a fun moment, and as well, you've got the announcement around the Orton facing the John Cena and back ashes. Obviously they'll introduce Code Heroes at some point, and he could do with a bit of a rest and a recuperation, but that is it provides an opportunity for or a friend foul even Cheesecake is eventually will take the belt off. Mm, I'll give Ina the chance to really have fun. Because obviously he's hung at some point after Harry does the business against Orton, obviously as well as a result of the final segment, you'll see you'll see the tag match Roman Reigns and CM Punk against Heyman's new alliance. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. And yeah, I hope you'll stick by the channel um as a review or that. But guys, I'm gonna remember to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next. I'll see you all next video.